Welcome. The objective for this video, the student will be able to solve two-step equations. To solve two-step equations, undo the operations by working backwards. So let's look at our example. We have x over 2 minus 3 equals negative 7. Recall the order of operations as you answer these questions. Ask yourself, what is the first thing we are doing to x in this equation? So as we look at this equation, what's the first thing that is getting done to x? What's the first operation they ask us to do to x? X over 2. And x over 2 means that we're dividing x by 2. Okay, now let's look. What is the second thing they're asking us to do to x? So after they want you to divide x by 2, what's the next thing they're asking you to do? Subtract 3. So now that we recall the steps, we've figured this out. Now we need to work backwards. So looking at the same equation, let's draw our river. Has to separate our equations. Our next step, we have to work backwards. So the second thing we were supposed to do was, the second thing the equation is asking us to do is subtract 3. So we have to undo the subtract 3. How do we undo minus 3? We do the opposite. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. So we add 3 to both sides. We bring down our x over 2. We simplify that, we get negative 4. Now, what's our second step and our last step? We have x over 2. That's a division problem, x divided by 2. So we have to undo the division. To undo division, you multiply. What are we multiplying? We're multiplying 2. Because 2 is the number by x that we're trying to get x by itself. So we multiply 2 to both sides. We simplify, we bring our x down, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. We always check our answer. Plug our answer back in. Answer is equal to negative 7. It works. Please remember, as I noted in the previous videos, take your time, pause the screen if you may need to. Rewind, watch this video as many times as you need so you can understand the concept of solving these equations. Move on to our next problem. 2x minus 1 equals negative 3. Our first step, as always, is to draw that river. Next, we need to move the number beside x. What's the number beside x? Negative 1. Not the number directly beside x, but we need to move this number before we can start working with 2x. So let's move our minus 1. How do we move minus 1? We have to do the opposite. The opposite of minus 1 is plus 1. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we simplify that. We bring our 2x down. These cancel out. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Our last step, we have 2x equals negative 2. Remember, 2x is a multiplication problem. 2 times x. To undo multiplication, we have to divide. We divide positive 2. Why? Because positive 2 is the number beside x. Divide both sides by positive 2. X is equal to negative 1. Don't forget, we have to check our answers. We plug negative 1 back into the equation. We get negative 3. It works. So look at another problem. X over 3 minus 4 equals 8. Our first step is always draw the river. Before we start looking at this x over 3, we have to move the other number beside it. What number is beside this? Negative 4 or minus 4. We have to do the opposite of minus 4. The opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. So let's add 4 to both sides. As we simplify, we get x over 3 is equal to 12. So now we come back to this division problem. X divided by 3. We have to undo our division. To undo division, you do the opposite. The opposite of division, multiplication. So we multiply 3 on both sides. As we multiply 3 on both sides, X is equal to 36. But we're not done there. We have to check our answers. We plug 36 back into the equation. 36 over 3 equals 12. Minus 4 equals 8. It is good. So next we come to D minus 4 divided by 2 or over 2 equals 3. Our first step is to draw the river. Now, we're looking at something a little bit different. We work with fractions, but now they're giving us a fraction statement. I mean, we have D minus 4 over 2. So, what's the first thing we need to do? We need to clear that fraction. We need to get rid of it. We don't like working with fractions, so let's get rid of it. Remember, to undo a fraction, we have to multiply. What do we multiply? This 2, because this 2 is in our way to get D minus 4 by itself. So, we multiply 2 on both sides. We multiply 2, we simplify. We have D minus 4 equals 6. These 2's cancel out. You bring D minus 4 down. 3 times 2 is 6. So now we're looking at D minus 4 equals 6. A simple one-step equation. We have to get our D by itself. By doing that, we have to get rid of minus 4. To undo minus 4 or get rid of it, we do the opposite, which is plus 4 on both sides. And D is equal to 10. Let's not forget to check our answers and plug 10 back in. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. It works. Our next problem. 3 minus a over 7 equals negative 2. So now we see our variable is in a fraction, and now it's not at the beginning of the equation, it's in the middle of the equation, which still works for us. So let's draw that river. What's the first thing beside a divided by 7 as the fraction? That positive 3. Remember, this is a positive 3. There's no symbol to the left of it, which makes it positive. So we need to get rid of this 3. How do we get rid of a positive 3? Opposite of positive is negative, so we're subtracting 3 from both sides. We simplify. We bring our negative a over 7 down, because this minus sign is to the left of it. We bring this down. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Oh, well, now we have a simpler one-step equation. So now we're working with a fraction that we have to undo. Negative a over 7. Opposite of division is multiply. So we need to multiply. What are we multiplying on both sides? Negative 7. Why? Because this negative represents this 7. We want the a to be positive. So let's multiply by negative 7 to clear this negative sign and to clear the 7. So we multiply both sides by negative 7. The 7 and this negative 7 cancel out. You're left with a. And negative 5 times negative 7 equals 35. Remember, two negatives make a positive. Our final answer is a equals 35. But we're not done. Make sure we check our answer. We plug that 35 back into the equation. 35 over 7 is 5. 3 minus 5 gives us negative 2. It works.